Niagara Falls, a wonder of the world, a force of nature, and a vault of secrets. Beneath the roaring waters and swirling mist lies a world you have never imagined. Stories buried for centuries, mysteries that defy logic, and truths that will leave you stunned. Why did America shut down the falls for more than 6 months? Where does the water vanish during the dead of night? And what is hidden inside the colossal network of tunnels under the Niagara Falls? Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the most top secret and unknown facts about Niagara Falls. Brace yourself, because what you are about to discover will change the way you see this wonder forever. So, let's dive in. When you picture Niagara Falls, you probably imagine one colossal curtain of water crashing into the valley. But here is the twist: Niagara isn't one fall, it's three. First, the American Falls, rugged, powerful, framed by rough boulders. Then, the delicate Bridal Veil Falls, a shimmering ribbon of water, graceful and serene. And finally, the Titan Horseshoe Falls, the largest, the loudest, the heart of Niagara Falls fury. Together, they create a scene so vast, so overwhelming, it feels like one unstoppable force. But now you know, Niagara is a trio, each with its own personality, its own story. Did you know that Niagara Falls almost shut down every night? Well, this is the moment that shocks first time visitors the most, because what you see by the day is not what exists by night. Every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., Niagara Falls unleashes its full fury, a spectacle of nature preserved by an international treaty between United States and Canada. But when the crowds leave, the falls begin to fade. At night, up to 75% of river's water secretly diverted through colossal underground tunnels. These tunnels feed hydroelectric power stations that light up entire cities while tourists sleep. It's a silent agreement between nations, a balance between spectacle and sustainability. And if you stand by the Horseshoe Falls at 2 a.m., you will notice the roar is softer, the mist is thinner, the power is still there, but it's being harvested. Long before cameras and crowds, Niagara was a secret place. For centuries, Native American tribes stood at its edge, honoring its power, weaving its roar into their legend. Then came 1678, a French priest named Father Louis Hennepin gazed upon the falls and wrote of its fury. His words carried Niagara across oceans, igniting imaginations in Europe. By the 19th century, the world saw more than beauty, it saw power. Industrialists descended on Niagara, carving turbines into its bedrock. In 1895, the first large scale hydroelectric station roared to life, turning water into light. This was the dawn of modern electricity. But progress came with a price. Factories crept closer. The falls risked becoming a machine. Then a movement rose: Free Niagara. Visionaries fought to protect its soul. In 1885, the Niagara Reservation was born, designed by Frederick Law, America's first state park, a sanctuary for a wonder. Niagara's story is not just nature's, it is the humanity's, a tale of reverence, ambition, and redemption. When you stand at the edge of Niagara Falls, you are not just looking at a cliff, you are staring into the bones of an ancient world. Those magnificent stone layers, they are not mountain rock, they are the fossilized floor of a tropical ocean that existed over 400 million years ago. Back then, this region was a warm seabed. Sediment settled for millennia, forming limestone and shale, Today, those layers hold secrets, marine fossils, ancient coral locked in stone near the falls. Every ripple of water here whispers a story from a time before humans, before continents as we know them. Niagara isn't just a waterfall, it's a time machine. Niagara Falls, a torrent of unstoppable power, but imagine this: silence, stillness, and ice. It sounds impossible, but during the severe winters, parts of Niagara have frozen solid. The sheer volume of water makes it rare. Yet, when it happens, the sight is otherworldly. In 1911 and again in 1932, visitors walked across the frozen river, marveling the nature's icy grip. Beneath the frozen shell, water still surged, a silent force waiting to break free. Niagara Falls isn't just a wonder of nature. For over a century, it has been a stage for courage, madness, and tragedy. The first person to challenge the falls and live was not a young thrill seeker, but a 63-year-old school teacher. Her name was Annie Edson Taylor. In 1901, Annie climbed into a custom-made barrel, sealed herself inside, and plunged over the Horseshoe Falls. Against all odds, she survived, battered, bruised, but alive. Her fame was fleeting, her fortune never came, and yet her daring act sparked a legacy, a century of stunts, triumphs, and tragedies. Some lived to tell the tale, many didn't. And now it is illegal to do any daredevil activity at the falls. So here is another interesting fact. Did you know since its creation, Niagara Falls has dried once completely? It sounds impossible, unbelievable. A place known for its deafening roar suddenly silent. March 29, 1848, a date etched in the icy veins of Niagara history. That morning, locals awoke to the chilling silence. The mighty Niagara Falls gone. An immense icy jam had formed at the mouth of Lake Erie, a natural dam. The river's lifeblood was blocked. For 30 hours, not a single drop reached the edge. People wandered out onto the dry riverbed. Some stood at the edge of the Horseshoe Falls, a place no one was ever meant to reach. They found history buried in the mud, musket balls from the War of 1812, ancient tools, forgotten coins. It was a moment frozen in time, a reminder that even nature's fiercest forces can be silenced, if only for a day. So here is another interesting fact that once Americans have turned off the Niagara Falls, it was one of the boldest engineering experiments in history, a moment when man didn't just challenge nature, he paused it. In the summer of 1969, the US Army Corps of Engineering did the unthinkable. They shut off the American Falls. Using 28,000 tons of rock, they built a temporary dam, a wall that diverted the entire flow of the Niagara River toward the Horseshoe Falls. For 6 months, the American Falls stood dry, silent, exposed. The goal was to study the stability of the rock face and remove the massive pile of eroded stone, the talus, at the base. But nature had other plans. Removing the rock pile would have accelerated erosion. The falls would crumble faster, so they left it and reopened the flow. Millions came to witness the dry bones of a giant, a once-in-a-lifetime glimpse into the anatomy of a legend. You have seen Niagara's fury from the above, but what if I tell you that its greatest secret lies below? Deep under the roar, carved through the solid rock, runs a labyrinth of tunnels. They were born from the ambition to harness the unstoppable force of water and turn into light. Over a century ago, men dug by hand, blasting through limestone and shale to create a passage nearly half a mile long. This tunnel carried spent water from turbines back to the river, powering cities and industries. Today, you can walk where history flowed, through a tunnel that once pulsed with the energy of a continent. It is a hidden artery beneath the earth, a silent giant that still hums the power. Niagara Falls looks eternal, a force carved in stone, defying time, but here is the truth. It is moving. For 12,500 years, the falls has been eating away at the earth, clawing their way back towards Lake Erie, inch by inch, year by year. In that time, it has migrated nearly 7 miles upstream. Well, you don't need to worry. At today's pace, it will take thousands of years before the falls reach the lake. But make no mistake, Niagara is alive, it is moving, and it never stops. Now you know Niagara Falls is more than a waterfall. It is a living monument to history, science, and human ambition. But these secrets, they are just the beginning. Now it is time to say goodbye. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more adventures.